Welcome back to Invitation to Puzzles. I'm zetamath, and we're back with a cave puzzle by Menderbug. So let me explain how cave puzzles work. So in cave puzzles, what we're doing is we're building a cave network. And so we have to decide where the cave is and where the floor is and where the walls are, basically. And so the floor is going to be green, and the walls are going to be black. So the first thing is that the nice satisfying rule is all the clues are floor. So you can immediately, in any cave puzzle you ever do, you can green all of the clues. And now the rules of cave are that you have to keep all of the floor orthogonally connected. So eventually, once I've added enough green to this grid, I have to make it so that all the green connects to all the other green. That is, someone could walk through the floor of the cave. All the wall of the cave has to connect to the edge of the grid. So there's no sort of like stalactites in the middle of the cave that are surrounded by floor, for example. I can't do that. And the clues tell you, if you look from that spot on the floor, how many floor tiles you see. So that is in the four cardinal directions, up, down, left, and right. In total, how many do you see? So for example, this 8 sees 8 total cells if you combine how many cells it sees in this direction and that direction. Okay, and so it's counting floor until you hit the first wall. So whenever you hit the first wall, then you stop. For example, this cell has to be cave, because if this cell was floor, this 2 already sees too many floors. It sees 3 floors. It does count itself, by the way, I should specify. So this already sees too many. And so now this piece of cave, it has to make it to the edge of the grid. So you can snake this piece over to here. You can do that. Likewise, this too actually has the same problem. If this was green, it already sees too many. So this is wall. Or sorry, yeah, this is wall, is what I should say. Now note, I don't know the wall grows because this piece of wall is already touching the edge of the grid, and I only need to get every wall to the edge of the grid. The walls don't have to connect or anything like that. They just have to connect to the edge of the grid, I should say. Now, there's a nice little trick going on with this 8, which is that I know this 8 sees at most 3 cells horizontally, and so all the rest of the cells it has to see vertically, which means it needs to see at least 5 cells vertically. So if I count it needs to see 5 more cells vertically, not counting itself. So it needs to see at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. So those all need to be green. This 5 here, though, it can't see that many cells. That would be 7 cells. 7 is more than 5. So this needs to be wall, just to make that work. And this cell now has to be green, because now this 8 currently only sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That needs to be green, so it sees 8. And now the 8 is happy. The 4, however, is sad, because the 4 presently only sees 3, and it wants to see 4. And it wants to see exactly 4, and so I need to cut that off right there. We can do exactly the same thing with this 8. It currently sees 6, in fact, the same 6. It needs to see more, but only, and so I can count, this is 6, 7, 8, and so then I can cut it off there like that. And so that becomes cave as well. And I can repeat that math down here with my 5 and my 7. And so this 7 can only see a maximum of 3 cells vertically. So it needs to see at least 4 cells in this horizontal direction. As soon as it does see those cells, though, it stops being able to extend any further because the 4, if this were green, would see way too many. And so then we bounce back. And so we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That needs to be green, and now it sees the right number. And now this 5 needs to see 2 more. And this 6 needs to see, 1 more if I click the right button. Like that. Okay, and so we can keep doing that sort of math as we go through this, as we see cells that we sort of have constrained. We can fill in some various cells. Okay, this 4 here, it can't see this cell, and that's because this cell is sort of a twofer with the cell behind it. If this 4 were to see this cell, it would also see that cell. It already sees 3. It would see 5 as soon as it did that. Okay. But that's actually quite powerful because this wall needs to get out. It needs to connect, remember, to the edge of the grid. And so it can drag itself all the way basically over to there for free. Okay. So that is good. Okay, I'm not quite sure what to do with that 4 yet. So maybe it is time for me to tell you the weird secret rule of Cave. Cave is one of those genres that has, and in this case, just one slightly unintuitive thing that's not a rule, but is a consequence of the rules. But basically, everyone who solves these treats it like a rule, which is that you can't actually ever have a checkerboard pattern in your cave. So I can't actually make this cell wall. And that's because if I do make this cell wall, remember this needs to connect to the edge somehow. So let's say I just do that. But the problem is now in so doing, I've definitely separated this side of the checkerboard from that side of the checkerboard. And all the green, remember, needs to connect. And that actually doesn't have anything to do with the fact that this is on the edge of the board. You just can't have a checkerboard pattern anywhere in your grid. And so you are allowed, and this may or may not be necessary for this puzzle, I'm not sure, but you are allowed anytime that you see a potential checkerboard to just go ahead and fill it in. And so there's a couple places up here where this would be a checkerboard, so that's green. This would be a checkerboard, so that's green. Now I have some more things from that. So now this 3, it sees 3. So I need to cut off the sight line actually in both directions, like that. This 3, if this were green, this 3 would see 4. So it's not. And so now I have to finish the 4, which is currently seeing 2. So it looks like that. I have a checkerboard potential right there. This 2, and 2s are always very precarious in cave puzzles. So this 2 is very risky because if this was green, the 2 sees way too many. Okay, and so in fact, actually, the whole 2 has to do exactly that. It has no wiggle room. And this 2, actually, it needs to be blocked off in 3 different directions because it already sees 2. Avoid a checkerboard there on that angle. This 4 now actually can only possibly do that because there's only one direction it can grow, and so it sees those 4. And now this 8 needs to see 4 more, so 1, 2, 3, 4, which cuts that off. And now we conveniently have a 10, which currently sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that. So now this piece of wall, remember the wall needs to get out over to there. This 7 now, if you look at what the 7 is doing, it currently only sees 3. So it needs to see 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it's done. So we can do that. This wall still hasn't made it to the edge, so that needs to be cave, and this needs to be cave to avoid a checker. Or sorry, this needs to be wall to avoid a checkerboard. This needs to be wall, because if it isn't wall, then this 3 sees too many things, which lets me finish the 4. In fact, actually, if I look at this piece of wall, it actually needs to wind all the way through there, because it's still not hit the edge yet. Okay, which lets me finish the 5, which does finish the 4 as well. Which lets me finish, actually, both of these 3s. And now I still... Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was going to do that. Can't do that. That would disconnect the greens. Because this is eventually going to connect over there. What I can do is I can say that this is wall because of the avoiding a checkerboard. But the greens need to connect, so that is green. This green 3 needs exactly 1 more. Avoid a checkerboard. This 2 is done. And so there we go. That was quite lovely, actually. And I shouldn't be surprised. The gap puzzles are usually excellent, but that was quite fun. I do enjoy a good cave puzzle, but thank you for joining me on this episode of Invitation to Puzzles. I hope you had a good time. I hope you gave the puzzle a try, and I'll see you next time. As always, leave a comment if there's anything in particular that you'd like me to do a video about. I'm happy to cover Sudoku and pencil puzzle genres of various sorts, as long as I don't hate them, which is not that many genres, so I will probably be happy to cover whatever you like. So anyway, feel free to ask in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.